Hi everyone, today I'd like to tell you about this fabulous Hugh Sawrey that's just arrived at the studio. It's called The Rabbiter and His Daughter from Yelarbon in South West Queensland. And what I love about this painting, and in particular about Hugh Sawrey's work, is there's always a beautiful narrative of Australian history or about life on the land, which is something that Sawrey directly experienced himself, being a stockman and a drover, and because of that, having visited many of these areas and being able to relay in a really authentic way what he's actually experienced in his life. Now we see here, here's the rabbiter with his gorgeous little daughter sitting in their cart and the old horse plodding along. They probably had him for ages and he's really loyal and dutiful. And down here are the rabbits that he's trapped. Now the history with rabbits in Australia is quite a long history, starting in the when the first fleet first brought rabbits out, but then a rabbit plague erupted in the 1870s. Now it's good and bad because it actually did bring some good to the country in the sense that it provided an income for a lot of people out back, and it supplemented their survival, particularly during the Depression years when it was very difficult to make money and to survive. So Hugh Sawrey is actually paying homage here in a way to the resilience and the hard-working nature of many people in the bush, and also to an industry that ironically did bring funding to small towns. Yelarbon in particular was known as the Rabbit Town because a freezing works was established there in 1916, and by the following year there were trappers coming from everywhere to bring rabbits to the freezing works, including this fellow here, no doubt, and this is his story about what he's doing with his life. And so that created a lot of income for the town. And so Sawrey's sort of creating a painting that represents that. There's some sensitivity to their life, the hardworking nature of his life, trying to graft a dollar here and there. All those sort of lovely stories are always in Sawrey's paintings. Yelarbon's now a town that has suffered a lot from the drought, unfortunately, after the rabbit works closed in 1955 with the advent of myxomatosis, which wiped out a lot of the rabbit population. They're now looking for new ways to start industry in the town, and one of those is a beautiful set of silos that have been painted with a fantastic mural, and that's a new industry developing in the bush now with silos being painted, and you can actually go and travel around on the National Arts Silo Trail. And Yelarbon's just released on 4 silos this lovely scenery of the Yelarbon Lagoon, which is near the town. Anyhow, I hope you'll enjoy that and enjoy the fact that Hugh Sawrey is creating history and preserving it here in his painting, not only for the story of the trapper and his daughter and that whole part of our history, but also a nod to the livelihood of Yelarbon. Thanks for listening.